playoff heartbreaks across the country. The NBA season is heating up, and this is the 10th season of Hitting the Field.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask. I just really hit the field. 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 Boy, I'm about to hit the field.
Welcome to the Season 10 premiere of Hitting the Field. I'm Jaret Kappelman, a bit under the weather, but I can't believe it's Season 10 and I can't wait to get it going. It's great to be back home. I am with Jon Whitley and Chris Wolf. It's great to see you. How you doing today, Jon?
Man, I'm fired up. The first round of the playoffs delivered in every way.
It did. Chris, answer carefully.
I'm doing good right now. I'm just happy. Team's moving on.
Hey, what a great break, though. Great time with
Excellent
family and
break.
everything.
Lots of great food.
That's
Too
great.
much great food.
That's true. That's true.
We're going to start this season on a bit of a sad note. Well, for me. But not so much for Chris Wolf's Seahawks, who defeated the Eagles 17-9 yesterday in Philly. The score was identical to the game when they faced off in the regular season. However, this game was different. Carson Wentz left the game in the first quarter with a concussion, and backup quarterback Josh McCown could not get the offense going. Chris, what impressed you the most from yesterday?
What impressed me the most was
Shot at Carson Wentz, knocking him out of his first ever playoff game and, in my opinion, ruining the Eagles' season.
I mean, I consider it a cheap shot. I mean, I'm a Seahawks fan. I consider it a cheap shot because Carson Wentz, even though apparently the refs said he wasn't giving up on the play, he was giving up. He was going to the ground, and he took a helmet-to-helmet hit in the back of the head, which is
And then slammed his head on the
What's
ground.
crazy to say is it looked like he aimed his head at the Carson Wentz's most vulnerable play situation. It looked like it seemed like a defensive player.
I mean, yeah, I totally agree with that too because that's
It should've been
more.
an
That's
easy
way more
foul.
than a concussion. That's
Oh,
neck. That's neck injury.
that's
And I hate to see it for Carson Wentz finally getting to show what he can do in the playoffs and once again. And I hope nobody goes to say this is because Carson Wentz is injury prone and he can't stay on the field because that was just a freak
That could've
injury. I
happened
hate
to
to see
anyone.
that.
Could've
Anybody. It was a dirty play.
So what do we think going into next week? Because the Seahawks secondary still didn't look good against a terrible Eagles offense. They had no offense with Josh McCown in, and yet they still didn't look great. Chris?
I mean, there has to be a concern. And the biggest concern to me is the tight ends. They are one of the worst teams in the league at guarding the tight ends, like bottom 3. I mean, they allowed over 110 yards of receiving yards to Goddard and Zach Ertz. They've been doing this all season. And next week they're going against Jimmy Graham. He may be a little washed, but he is still capable
We
of
might
having
see some throwback Jimmy Graham this weekend.
He's capable of having an all-pro performance. Like, he can have 100 yards on any given day because the Packers don't really have much of a big threat outside of Devontae Adams that you're super scared of, unless you're
Lazard has really come on these past couple weeks. I'd watch
that's
out
a
for him.
2-year.
He's established himself as a legitimate number 2 receiver.
I agree with that too. And he's going to most likely be on Trey Flowers, which, in my opinion, is one of the worst corners in the league. He gets way too many pass interference penalties, and that's a big thing.
Well, they had 120 penalty yards yesterday, the Seahawks.
I think it was 11 penalties, 114. You can't win.
good.
You're not going to win playoff games doing that.
You don't beat a
You're not gonna go into Lambeau and beat the Packers doing that.
That's
for
way
sure.
too many mistakes, and a lot of those yards were on Trey Flowers. Like, Trey Flowers had like 2 big pass interference penalties. He doesn't look back for the ball. Especially on that 30, 40 yarder late in the game, he had a chance to look back and deflect it, and he just chooses not to. And I'm worried about that because Shaquille Griffin, he can't guard everybody on the outside.
But can he guard Devontae Adams?
It's going to be a challenge, but I think he can because he's top 3 in deflections. He's good at defending. He's not the ball hawk because he has no interceptions this season, but he is just a good pure defender. He's top 10 in Pro Football Focus, top 10 in the league ranked. So it's going to be a fun matchup.
So does Wentz getting hurt, though, back to the Eagles side, does it take away from his season at all? I mean, 4,000 yards, first quarterback in Eagles franchise history, and he did it without any wide receiver over 500.
It certainly leaves a bad taste in your mouth. You know, at the end of the day, you're remembered for what you do in the postseason. So, yeah, it certainly is a bad taste in his mouth. I mean, great season. I think he still has a bright future, but, yeah, it definitely takes away from it.
All right, well, let's move on to the other NFC game, which gave us possibly the biggest upset of the weekend. The Vikings were an 8-point underdog against the Saints, but they went into New Orleans and eliminated the Saints 26-20 in overtime. It's the second time in 3 years that the Vikings have given the Saints the boot in the playoffs. Kirk Cousins threw for 242 in one of his best games as a Viking, and Dalvin Cook rushed for a pair of touchdowns. John, were you surprised by this result?
I was very surprised by this. I did not see this coming. Of all the upsets this weekend, this was actually the last one I saw coming. And I think it's finally time to show some respect to Kirk Cousins. He made some great throws, and frankly, he completely outplayed Drew Brees.
I was so surprised. And what surprised me most, I felt like Drew Brees was the third best quarterback on the field yesterday. Taysom Hill, when Taysom Hill was on the field, that offense just looked juiced. They were motivated to play because he was breaking tackles, big plays. He had a 50-yard pass play down the field, set up a touchdown. He had the lead blocker on the running touchdown too. I mean, he did everything.
I don't think he's a full-time starting quarterback though. I think he's still a situational guy.
Yeah.
I think Bridgewater should be their guy moving forward. I think we saw Drew Brees in his last game yesterday.
You think?
I think.
Wait. You just said Drew Brees played his last game yesterday.
Listen.
Drew Brees is going to retire before Tom Brady?
Let's look at the facts. He's 40 years old. He missed half the season. He got outplayed and lost in the playoffs to Kirk Cousins. Okay? Those are just
We're
the
talking
facts.
Drew
I get,
Brees.
listen,
First ballot
everybody,
Hall of Fame,
everyone
Drew
likes
Brees.
Drew Brees. I like Drew Brees just as much as everyone else. But 40 years old, missed half the season, got outplayed and lost Kirk Cousins in the playoffs.
That was a freak injury.
I don't think
It was a freak injury, but that he missed half the season.
I don't think that's this isn't the end of Drew Brees. I mean, he can still play. He's
Listen,
still putting up good numbers. I mean, the team is still winning. They won 13 games this season. I know Bridgewater played some of those. But
here's the
Drew
thing.
Brees played still
You
played
have
well.
the guy. You have the guy. Are you going to let Bridgewater walk away? And guess what? You don't get better after 40 years old. I laid out for you what he did this year. You don't get better after that. He's not going to be better as a 41-year-old.
Do you think a 41-year-old Drew Brees with the talent he has around him is going to be better than Teddy Bridgewater next season?
I think from what I've seen this so far, I'm not so sure. I think about the same. I mean, if he continues to decline at the rate he is, then yeah, I think.
So who
Teddy
would you rather have as
Bridgewater-
your quarterback next season, Drew Brees or Kirk Cousins?
But here's the thing: it's not just about next season. We're looking at the next 5
Okay,
to 8
next
years.
5 years. Who are you signing to a 5-year deal tomorrow, Drew Brees or Kirk Cousins?
Kirk Cousins.
Really? Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
the man who
listen,
hasn't
Drew
really got
Brees
it
is
done. He
on
won
his
one
last
game.
leg.
One game.
but
and
it's
his
improvement.
defense won that game for him.
Oh,
But it's improvement.
I would sign Teddy Bridgewater to a 5-year deal before I sign Drew Brees to a 5-year deal.
Okay.
But when I look at the Kirk Cousins thing, you're seeing improvement. He's not turning the ball over late in the game. He's making plays that win game. He made plays that won the game yesterday. He threw the bomb to Thielen, was a really good throw. It was kind of a prayer, but it was a good throw. It was a good all over the receiver and catch
It was a great throw.
and probably the best of his career.
I think a week from today, when the Vikings get embarrassed by the 49ers, we'll be having a different conversation, which leads me to my next point. What are the X factors for the Vikings to go into San Francisco and win?
Well, you got to feed Dalvin Cook, control the clock, keep away, and that's your best chance is with Dalvin Cook.
I think you gotta. If I'm the Vikings, I try to do a game plan similar to what Tennessee did.
Yeah.
If it's gonna work, like if you're gonna get 5-6 yards of carry, and you control that clock, and Kirk Cousins if Kirk Cousins can make a couple plays here and there on third down, maybe a big play to like Thielen or Diggs, they have a chance. Because this is my key. At the 35 minutes. Possession
35
time.
minutes.
Possession time. If the Vikings can get 35 minutes, I think they have a chance.
John?
The only thing is, I think you are absolutely right. The thing is, I don't think they can do that against this 49ers defense. They're much bigger, much stronger, much more athletic, much faster. I frankly don't think I think they're going to make Kirk Cousins play quarterback. And frankly, I don't know if he can deliver.
I don't know if he can either, but guys, I have breaking news. Tua Tagovailoa will enter the NFL draft. John, what? I know you're a big Bama
Listen.
fan.
As a Bama fan, I could not be more excited for them. I think this means that medically, he's coming along nicely. He's on pace to do the NFL draft preparation. So I wish him the best, and hopefully goes to a great situation in the NFL.
I mean, I wish him nothing but the best for him. I mean, it was a freak injury. He is by far this draft the most talented.
If you're an NFL GM, would you take him over your guy Herbert?
No.
It is.
No.
No, I would.
Okay, I'm gonna look at this. I look at injuries, but I also look. He is a lot more talented than Justin Herbert, and that is why you
He's
take.
college talent. He's not pro talent.
But I'm looking at the change.
He
in this
can
game.
make every throw on the field.
But I'm looking at the change to the NFL. The NFL is turning into kind of a college type game now. I mean,
Don't you think everyone being faster in the NFL is going to catch up to him? He makes life happen by extending the play, moving out of the pocket. Don't you think that's going to catch up to him?
We'll see. Those could have been freak injuries.
He can't take hits the way he did in college. These guys are bigger, stronger, faster.
but I think he also will get. But I also think he will mature. I mean, maturity is
I
what
think
you
he'll
gotta
learn to
do.
get the ball out faster, and I really think this kid has a very bright future.
And I believe and I would take him over Justin Herbert. I will say that. I think Herbert has the higher ceiling than him. Also, way higher bust.
Now, I'd be impressed if you guys could name 3 other lefty quarterbacks to play in the NFL.
Mike Vick.
Matt.
Mike Vick. I got
You
2
know,
more, and that's about it.
I can name another one, Tua Tagovailoa next year.
I got Tim
the future
Tebow.
Hall of Famer Tua Tagovailoa.
Tim Tebow and Steve Young. But other than
Steve
that,
Young, Hall of
I mean,
Famer.
lefties haven't. So, I mean, that's something else. Like, does the ball come out different for these NFL receivers? Because what team are we going to see him go to? The Dolphins?
Possibly the Dolphins. Maybe.
Dolphins? I don't know.
Maybe
the Bengals are going Burrow.
depends on how he looks in the draft process. But maybe falls to the Patriots. Maybe falls to
Patriots.
Yeah, falls
Chargers.
to a good situation. Chargers another good situation.
That'd be a good situation for the Chargers.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
good. I mean, you have Phillip Rivers for maybe one more year. Let him sit
But I
behind
don't
you,
even
maybe.
think one more year. I think Phillip Rivers is
Half a year.
done.
Phillip Rivers is terrible.
It may be like
I think we're about to see Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, and Drew Brees all retire.
I don't know about Drew Brees.
I'm not sold on that. Not sold on that yet.
So, do we think Tua's going to be an X factor in the NFL first year? Or is he going to sit out like a Jared Goff year, real quick? Yes or no?
He will. I think he will. I think he will be like Lamar Jackson.
He'll be
last
Lamar
year.
Jackson.
He will play.
John?
halfway through.
I don't think we'll see Tua play this coming NFL season.
Won't
I think
see Tua play
next
this
season
NFL
he gets the
season.
starting job.
Next
But it
year.
really depends on where he goes, so we'll see. That's my
All right.
attitude.
Well, thank you, Chris and John, for the NFC talk and some Tua talk. But now we're going to push the conversation to you. Head to our Twitter @HittingTheField to answer today's poll. Which wildcard team has the best chance to win next weekend? Is it the Seahawks or Vikings, or the AFC teams, the Titans or Texans? We'll reveal those results at the end of the show. When we come back, we're going to dive into those AFC games from the weekend. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Dave Jeffrey, attorney at law. Has your favorite team ever left you feeling sad, disappointed, or even a little angry? Don't you feel like you should be compensated for it? Just take a look at these real testimonials from my real clients. After Tyrod Taylor led the Bills to the playoffs for the first time in 17 years, I was the happiest I'd ever been. And then the Bills traded him, and I wanted to die. But thanks to Dave, I found my will to live again. Yo, Kevin Durant's a bitch. When he said his mom was the MVP, I was so pissed. He put up 30 a game, not her. Same time, I knew my boy Davey would be able to get me some quick cash. Thanks, Dave Jeffrey. I've helped millions of people, and chances are I might be able to help you too.
I hate David Jeffries. My whole family died in a car crash, but he gave all my money away to a Saints fan because of some blown pass interference call. Thanks, Dav.
Aren't you mad when KD went to the Warriors?
Nah, that's pretty chill. Give me a call at 888-888-888, crying emoji, and I can fix your sports misery too.
Please call the number on your screen today if you are experiencing any grief, sadness, or even if another fan has hurt your feelings. All you have to do is provide your credit card number, the 3 silly digits on the back, and the expiration month and year. This is not a scam. Doop-de-doop.
That was just on another level. Two players were running full speed at him, and he spun out of both, got the pass off, got him in the field goal range, the yards after the catch to Jones, got him in field goal range, and they won. But, and also one of the X factors, the Bills' decision making, that and play calling, I didn't get any of that. I mean, Josh Allen pitching it backwards with still over a minute to go. I mean, you're on midfield, so it's not like you're needed to drive much further. You have one of the most accurate playoff kickers of all time in Steven Hauschka. All he needed was
Josh Allen's going to be Josh Allen. Times he's hard to watch. When he's good, he's great. When he's bad, it's terrible. But I think the X factor for me was a J.J. Watt on the other side of the ball. Twice on third down. Once he got the sack on a big third down. The other time he got the pressure that affected Josh Allen's throw. So I think having J.J. Watt come back from a torn pec really won them the game. I mean, besides Deshaun Watson's play.
So I saw a stat. The last 2 wildcard games for the Texans, they've been outscored in the first half 34-0. Now, they haven't made it to an AFC championship because you can't start off slow against these better teams, the 1 and the 2 seed. Do they have a chance going into Kansas City?
It is minuscule.
Yeah, I think their bad play is going to catch up to them against Kansas City. Their offense never looks on time. It's always just Deshaun Watson running around like a chicken with his head cut off.
I mean, how lucky was that play?
Yeah, I mean, and that wasn't even the only time.
Yeah,
like, that's just not sustainable offense. It's going to catch up to them. And frankly, I think it might be time to let go of Bill O'Brien.
I kind of agree because, I mean, it's the same old every year.
This is as far as he can get this team.
If he lost, he would have for sure been fired. If they lost,
that might have been the next day, potentially. Yeah. He would have been fired, I feel like. I mean, I feel like he has to win this week to even have a chance to keep his job, in my opinion.
I think of all of the wild card teams, they are the least likely team to win this weekend.
I think I agree with that because I think I give Tennessee a bit.
I do give Tennessee a shot.
I give Tennessee a much better shot against Baltimore. At least they showed they could run the ball. The Texans gave up more yards than any team that played this whole weekend.
I mean, think about it. Josh Allen had over 340 yards of offense, and this dude's not like he improved from his rookie year, but he's not an offensive juggernaut, and he was lighting up on the ground. He was getting throws, and also people need to give credit to Devin Singletary. He's going to be a stud.
Well, he only had 13 touches.
And he had over 100 yards
13
total.
touches. He's got to get more touches.
I
want to jump into the last 2 minutes of that game. The Texans, the Bills decide to go for it on 4th and 23. And instead of even forcing a ball, Josh Allen takes a 20-yard sack, which then flips the field and gives the Texans the ball on the Bills' 40, in which it comes to a 4th and 1. They run a quarterback sneak, terrible play call. He comes nowhere close to even getting back to the line of scrimmage. Should they have taken the field goal?
Yes, you have a much better chance at making a long field goal than a 4th and 20-some conversion. I mean, that's just a desperation Hail Mary.
Should they've even punted it to pin them deep to maybe even flip the field?
You'd have a better chance of punting it and having the returner muff it and get a touchdown off that than you do of converting a 4th and 23.
I agree because going for it, first of all, you gave them pretty decent field position, and also, you kick a field goal, you make the Bills have to get a touchdown. Instead, you give the Bills pretty good field position.
Texans?
Yeah, you're on the Texans. We're talking about the Bills. Should they, on their 4th and 23, should they have punted, kicked the 60-yarder? What should they have done? Or should they have gone for it? Was that the right call? Because I'll jump into that right after.
Okay. I think I would have punted. I'm pretty sure they had all their timeouts still?
Yes.
They had all their timeouts. I mean, you have all your timeouts, and there's still like 2 minutes left. I mean, you get 3 stops.
I would have done absolutely anything than what we saw.
On the flip side, You were saying the Texans, should they have kicked the field goal on their 4th and 1, or should they have gone for it?
I think they should have kicked the field goal because how your defense played in the second half. I mean,
That's why I think they should have pinned them.
I mean, you could pin
Well, they
them.
were on the 30. It's like you're on the 30.
It's like you're probably
it's
gonna
a 48-yard field goal.
Kick the field goal.
You kick the field goal because I mean, if you try to punt, you're probably get a touchback, which you're gonna gain.
You don't want to punt. You want to make it either a 6-point game or
I want to make a 6-point game
But
because
you need a better play call if you're going to go for it, right? On 4th and 1.
Absolutely.
get Deshaun on the edge at least. I mean, because he was kind of burning him
I
on
don't
the
know.
edge.
Hindsight's 20/20.
It is.
I would bet on Deshaun Watson to pick up a 4th and 1 on a QB
I would too.
sneak. I think it was the right play call, just bad
I
execution.
don't trust the offensive line. The offensive line is not good, and it showed right there. They didn't get enough push, because in order to convert quarterback sneaks, you need push, and that offensive line can't get any push.
One more key play. I want to throw through the Zebras, the ones wearing black and white. Yes, I'm talking to you, refs. Calling a illegal blindside block. What?
That was
Where? I didn't
that
see
was
it.
questionable.
I mean, I didn't see it.
That
I
was-
must be blind too.
I mean,
because
as
didn't
long as
see
the
it.
player's in front of him and can see his numbers, he has the right to do that.
He didn't even. It was a simple just. It wasn't even like he pancaked.
I
him
think
or
that was a
anything.
very
I'm not going to say it
questionable
cost him
call.
the game, but I mean,
It would have been
they
a 53-yard field goal for the win
and that's
in overtime.
And that's a great kicker
For the
too.
Bill-
You had a
Steven
great,
Hauschka is a great kicker. How's that work?
So,
It was
so
close,
maybe it was a smart play by Josh Allen.
You think he meant to do that?
I think so. I'll give him the benefit.
The man
of the
from
doubt.
Wyoming.
But I am gonna say about Josh Allen, he played better than I thought he'd play.
He did.
He played a lot better than I thought he'd play. I mean, he is a underrated runner. He's one of the best. He is one of the top 5 runners
Yep.
in the
Well,
league as quarterback. I mean, because
Let's jump in to the other side, the other game. Because for the first time since 2009, no AFC East team will take part in the divisional round. And that is not just the Patriots' fault, because we did mention the Bills blew their opportunity. So, Derrick Henry ran the Patriots out of their own stadium. He had 34 touches, 204 yards, and a pair of touchdowns on his birthday. Absolutely incredible. He put the team on his back. John, what'd you make of Henry's
Well, I'll
performance?
tell you what's most impressive about Derrick Henry is you can give him 34 carries, and his 34th carry looks just like his 3rd carry. So when you have a back like that, just keep feeding him. Keep feeding him, and you'll be in every game.
he's a man amongst boys. It looks like
Man
out
amongst
there.
boys.
Even in the NFL, he is just that much bigger than everybody he goes up against. It's just like he has like unlimited energy. He gets better as the game goes on because everyone's getting worn down by him, and it's almost hard to stop. And that is why I'd give him a chance this weekend, because you can wear down that Baltimore defense, and that also sets up play action for Ryan Tannehill to go to A.J. Brown, to go to Corey Davis.
Yes, Ryan Tannehill, who torched the Patriots for 75 yards. That guy.
That guy.
That guy.
That guy. John, what do you think of the Patriots? Just
Of the Patriots,
what? That was pathetic.
it was a bad performance, but I think you just need to regroup, maybe go out, sign Eric Ebron, maybe draft a receiver, sign Tom Brady to a 2-year deal. Because guess what? Tom Brady's not done yet, and you don't have a guy to replace him right now. Jarrett Stidham is not the guy. Maybe you draft that guy this year and groom him for a year behind Brady. But you definitely, I think this team has a legitimate chance next year. Refuel, bring Brady back.
Now,
make
do you
another
guys
run.
question? It was 1st and goal from the 1-yard line, the Patriots, when they were down, and they decided to run a dive to the left. Michelle took a 5-yard loss. Then they ran a pitch play the next to Burkhead. He got to the 2. Then they decided to run it again with Michelle. Do you question, with Tom Brady behind center, maybe you should drop back and pass the ball? Or, hey, maybe bring James White in and run from the shotgun so the box isn't stacked? That would have wins them the game.
I think that gets better, but I think this goes down to Brady doesn't trust his receivers. He didn't trust anyone around him to make a play.
He only trusts James White, and I think he lost trust in Julian Edelman.
Maybe
I mean, Julian Edelman had over 100. He had 100 catches this season, but he
He
also
led the NFL
led
in drops.
So it's like, it's just drops. It's just, I mean, you can't drop the ball. I mean, even if you can pick up if you put up big numbers, when you drop key passes.
So is it like? I mean, how convenient that the year after he gets busted for peds, he leads the NFL in drops.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, there were some injuries. There was all sorts of variables. We don't know, but we definitely saw some decline in Julian Edelman this year.
What's next for the Patriots?
I think they should draft a quarterback, in my opinion.
Is Tom Brady done?
I don't.
Yeah, this guy thinks Drew Brees is done too.
I think Drew Brees is, because here's the difference in the Drew Brees situation and the Tom Brady situation. The
What's
Drew
Tom
Brees
Brady's situation?
You have the guy. You have
Okay.
Teddy Bridgewater. You can't let him get
What's
away.
Tom Brady's?
Tom Brady, you don't have the guy right now, but you know Tom Brady, he's got at least one more year in him. You got a great defense. You bring back Tom Brady one more year, maybe draft somebody this year to groom behind him.
Do you think Justin Herbert would drop that far?
Absolutely not.
No,
You
no
don't
chance.
think-
I
They'd have to-
think Tua Tagovailoa has a better chance
Or
of
do you
dropping
think
that far.
New England maybe trades up?
Yeah, well, I don't think they trade up. I think you're looking at Jake Fromm or Jalen Hurts, so it's a matter of, do you think that guy's a legitimate
I don't think either.
candidate to
I
groom
mean,
behind
Jalen
Brady?
Hurts is an interesting one. In my opinion, I don't think Jake Fromm is gonna.
Jake Fromm from State Farm.
I don't know.
Jake from State Farm.
It's a great Twitter name.
I don't think he's gonna.
I think he's better than he showed this year. I think he was playing with some young receivers that weren't on the same page. Maybe wasn't in the best offensive system. But I think Jake Fromm has a very good arm and a lot of talent. If he goes to the right situation in the NFL, he'll be a great quarterback.
Well, you know what? It's going to be an exciting time because I do think the dynasty is over, which is great for sports. Thank you, Chris and John, for coming to talk Wildcard Weekend with me. You can catch more playoff football talk on the Hitting the Field podcast this week. Be sure to check that out on Apple Podcasts and YouTube. When we return, I'll talk some hoops with Troy Alford and Armond Sarduy. Stick with us.
I mean, yeah, they lost the last two, but third time's a charm, right? That's what I tell myself every night before I cry myself to sleep, right?
Definitely. In my eyes, I know he's pitching game 2, and his postseason ERA is about over like 4, and I'm scared.
Because I like losing, apparently. It seems to be the trend. It's Jeter, too. He's just mad because the Yankees lost in the 2003 World Series.
03 World Series?
I think I have a better chance of winning the lottery, actually. Like, I'm probably going to throw it all on red this summer and hope for the best.
100%. And they're better than the Houston Astros.
The Trastros. Honestly, Justin Verlander is the second coming of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He is a god. I would go straight for Kate Upton.
I don't know.
We didn't give him enough. Should have given him $500 million.
Let's go, Yankees.
The Yankees will not lose. Let's be clear. Best team in baseball ever.
Welcome back to Hitting the Fields Season 10 premiere. I'm now joined by the vets, Troy Alford and Armond Sarduy, to talk the NBA's current state of affairs. Armond, how you doing today?
Pretty good. I'm right back at it again.
Did you have a good break?
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, I was working the whole time, so, a lot of time-consuming stuff.
Glad to hear it. Troy, how you doing?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm glad to be here. 10th season, my final season. It's a great time, man. Ready to catch another body.
Now, I'm going to have to ask, why the hat today? Did your barber sketch on you?
Look, we're not going to talk about my hat situation today.
Yeah, you don't.
It's unfortunate, but hey, I'm here.
You're here. That's
ready
all that
to go.
matters.
That's all that matters.
That is all that matters. All right. Well, the trade deadline is officially 1 month away from today, and two-time All-Star could be on the move. According to ESPN, Pistons center Andre Drummond is being dangled in the trade talks as the Pistons look to rebuild. Detroit sits 3 games back for the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference and is really not looking to contend anytime soon. Several teams, including the Hawks, Celtics, and Mavericks, are showing interest. And also, Blake Griffin is considering season-ending surgery. So, Troy, should a team buy into Drummond and who?
As far as should, that would depend on what that team is willing to do. But a situation that I would like to see the Boston Celtics get involved in trading for Andre Drummond.
Oh, no.
Because I think they're a bit undersized, and they are in the market looking for a center. You know, they're looking for a Steven Adams or Clint Capella, but those guys aren't leaving. You know, so Andre Drummond to Boston will make them a bigger team, but
You could replace like Al Horford.
Yeah, of course, but it will also come down to what are they giving up? Are they giving up a Gordon Hayward and maybe a Marcus Smart, maybe a Jaylen Brown?
You think Drummond's worth that right now?
I don't know, and that's the tough part. You know, I don't think the Celtics have a lot of draft assets anymore. I think they give those up.
I kind of disagree on that pick, the Celtics, because I think they're not willing to give up the young core that they have: Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum. They have Gordon Hayward as well. I think I like to see Andre Drummond on the Mavericks because they're a team on a West that's rising. They have Luka, they have KP. Shout out to KP. They have KP, Porzingis, and imagine if they trade for Drummond. Imagine that front court with Drummond.
But Armand, what are the Mavericks going to trade to get a Drummond back?
I mean, either way, if he goes to the Celtics, it's still a 1-year rental because we don't.
I don't think so. I think if he goes to the Celtics, I think he'll be in a winning situation and he'll want to stay there.
Yeah, but will he sign back though?
Well,
I believe so because he'll be in a winning situation.
But do they have the money to sign him back? Because he's gonna ask for big money.
I think with the trade you have the bird rights.
Okay.
If the money matches up with the trade, you have the bird rights and you can re-sign him under the cap.
Okay.
But I'm sorry, sign him over the cap.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if he were to go to the Celtics, he would resign.
I mean, they do need a big man inside and a rebounder. But the thing is that I still think that if he does play for the Celtics, he does get traded to the Celtics and play for them. I think he's gonna stay for 1 year and he's gonna leave. I don't think he's gonna. I think he wants to go to like a Celtics like a contender, but I don't think they have the money. I don't think they have the money.
If the money matches up, he will resign.
Don't you think the Gordon Hayward project has failed in Boston? So don't you think it's time for them to move on from him? Maybe bring in Drummond and get rid of Hayward?
I think the momentum is building back up. I think Hayward's trade value is going back up.
So I think that could be a good time to trade for Drummond.
I think it'll be a good trade, but I think Hayward only has like a year or two left on his deal. I don't think the Pistons want to invest in that. So that's why I say a young asset like Jaylen Brown.
You're trading away like a expiring contract and a 2 years left on Gordon Hayward.
Yeah.
I think he's on like a 4 year, 74.
Exactly.
Something like that. So the thing is that all Gordon Hayward needs to do is just stay healthy, and I think they'll be all right.
Well, you just mentioned healthy. We have Blake Griffin who's considering season-ending surgery. Yeah. So how does this change the Pistons' mentality to trading away, for like what are they going to do? Like,
I don't think it changes their mentality. They're a really scrappy team. They're trying to compete to the best of their abilities. Obviously the Blake Griffin situation is unfortunate, and I think he should do surgery because he hasn't been playing well this season at all. He's been up and down, up and down. It is not getting the Pistons anywhere. It's not doing anything good for them. So I think the surgery will be beneficial to both sides.
Right. For the Blake Griffin situation, I think honestly, the last option they'd probably trade him. Since he's hurt all the time, his trade value is probably gonna go down, and they could probably trade him, to get like a little backup player, like a 6-man, or maybe like some young players, like chump change for him.
But Blake also has a big contract too.
Right. Yeah. But folks might gamble for him. They might, you might take a chance. Detroit might just give away a big contract. Just because
they could. I mean, they got to do something. They haven't been relevant in a while.
So Detroit might make some big moves. They might honestly, this is a hot take right here. They might trade both Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond. Not in the same transaction, but like in different
two
trades.
Separate trades.
Yeah.
They got to get a lot back. Man.
Yeah.
I would hope they get some young pieces back that can fuel that franchise and move them in a positive direction.
Yeah.
Well, Drummond could be on his way out in Detroit, and another big could be on his way out as well. Cavaliers forward Kevin Love has not looked very happy as of late. He was fined $1,000 by the Cavs on New Year's Eve for an in-game outburst. Love's frustration did not stop there, though, after he was seen angrily, throwing a wild pass after calling for the ball, and he did not look happy with his coach. This past Saturday during their loss to the Thunder, Armond, what do you make of this?
I don't like it, honestly, because I think he's making, the fracture with the team public.
That team is fractured, though.
Oh, of course. But the thing is that I've been down the coach because you have a first-year coach, I think John Bayline, whatever his name is. Yeah. He came from Michigan. He never coached NBA before. And then Kevin Love's around a bunch of young guys, compared to a couple years ago in 2016 when they won the finals with LeBron, Kyrie, all those boys. The thing is that I don't like the way he's going about it. I think he just keep quiet, let the Cavs front office handle the business. And I think he's confident that he's going to get traded to a contender.
Well, Troy, do you think this is years of building up? He's always been the scapegoat in Cleveland, even when LeBron was there and Kyrie. He's literally been the guy to blame. Do you think this is just boiling up and he's had enough?
I think it's that, and also I don't feel bad for Kevin Love at all because when you re-sign a big deal to stay with Cleveland, what did he expect? Did he expect them to contend?
I don't think so.
He saw money first.
I mean, obviously it was a money play.
Yeah.
And you get what you deserve. You get what you put out, and he wanted a contract, got his contract. And now he's upset and wants to get traded.
Is it like an AB moment?
I mean, honestly,
I think so.
Not really, because honestly, for him to act like this is like very uncharacteristic.
It is very uncharacteristic.
Because usually he's more like down to earth, to himself.
I mean, he's been a big guy talking about mental health and the importance of that. He's been very relatable to the public.
So it's kind of messing with his mind a little bit, like I'm here in Cleveland, it's just me, we have Tristan Thompson, but Tristan Thompson.
Like I said, you get what you deserve, man. Like he signed that contract. What did you expect to happen? I would send him to the Kings or something like that, or the Pacers. Just
that's what I'm going to say. What should the Cavs do, or who should look into?
The Cavs should do what's best for their organization, not what's best for Kevin Love.
So what's best for their organization?
Young pieces that can, like I said, they're another team like the Pistons, like we talked about earlier, that's building, they're moving forward. Yeah. So I think they should get young pieces back in draft picks.
So where should they dish Kevin Love?
I say Portland. Portland, use him as a stretch four. You know what I'm saying? That's what they did when he was in Cleveland. They used him as a stretch four. He wasn't really inside the paint like other big men like Joel Embiid or Drummond or like Karl Anthony Towns. He's a stretch four. So I think if Portland wants to stay relevant in the playoff talk, trade for Kevin Love, use him as stretch four, and watch their win percentage increase.
What's one team you think they should dish him to?
I think the Kings would be a good place for him. I'll get some of the young pieces like maybe a Buddy Hill.
I mean, I kind of disagree because
De'Aaron Fox.
I kind of disagree
because
I'm saying
I kind of disagree because if we traded to the Kings, he's pretty much in the same situation as
like I said, this is not about Kevin Love. This is about the Cavs doing what's best for their organization.
Oh yeah, I don't.
Kevin Love, what did he allegedly he told Kobe, "Oh man, I have a lot of money." Well, live with your money, buddy. We're doing what's best for the organization. That's the Cavs mentality. That's what it should be.
But for Kevin Love's sake, don't trade to Sacramento because it's pretty much he wants to play with a contender. Sacramento is like 5 light years.
But what contender can he get to with that big contract? He's getting like $30 million a year. Like no contender's going to absorb that contract, especially for a 30-plus-year-old Kevin Love.
I mean, the thing is that the Cavs, they could trade him a couple of draft picks, cash considerations maybe. I definitely see him going on the West Coast. East Coast teams are pretty much set. Yeah. Anything, because I know.
I guess the best would be like Portland or.
I said Pacers.
I really don't know.
Pacers might have.
The Pacers? The Heat?
No,
they're not taking that contract.
The contract's too big.
And the Heat they're winning. They don't need Kevin Love.
Yeah, they don't really need Kevin Love. Maybe Toronto?
What if he gets bought out of his contract? But it's too early.
No,
that's a huge contract. They're not going to buy him out. They just paid him. He just got it.
I see Toronto, Pacers, Portland.
I like Toronto.
So closing thoughts, yes or no, does Kevin Love get dished?
Yeah, of course.
Yes?
I think ultimately, yes. He gets traded.
All right, well, thank you, Armond and Joy, for talking NBA with me. We're definitely going to get a lot more hoops talk in this season. When we come back, I'll reveal the results to our Twitter poll, and I'll give my first rant of Season 10.
Yo, guys, I can't even imagine what it's like to be a Saints fan right now.
Dude,
I'd be so
guys,
I can't believe that ridiculous no call.
Bro, I'm puzzled. If they would have made that call, who do you think would have been the Super Bowl? The Saints would have been the Super Bowl. Come on now.
The refs, they need to be punished.
Oh, hey, guys. Did you see my missed call last week? Could have sent that team to the championship. I guess not.
I can't take this anymore.
What's up with this guy?
Good morning, fellas, except for Andre.
KG in the building.
James Harden's a stat pack.
Yeah, that is right, you're right.
He has 120 straight points now. Bro, 120 straight points now. He doesn't pay.
All right, let's do this. Let's get down to business, guys.
He's still got Aaron Gordon, PJ Tucker, and them boys. Come on now.
What about Tom Brady gets the sun.
Facts. I think it's kind of special though. What?
What are you talking about, man? Crazy, man. I'll never say why. This is your
Welcome back to HTF. The results are in, and the Seahawks apparently have the best chance of winning this weekend with 72% of the votes. Interesting, because I think the Packers are my one lock for the weekend. I have the Packers beating the Seahawks. The Seahawks barely competed against a hurt Eagles team, and honestly, I don't see them getting it done in Green Bay in freezing temperature and probably snow. Well, it's that time to head off the script for the first time this season. I have to start with the Philadelphia Eagles. Josh McCown, I thank you for everything you did this season. You came out of retirement, gave up time with family, sacrificed time coaching your kids' football games just to come back, and you got your moment in the spotlight. You stepped up big, but unfortunately it just wasn't big enough. But you know what? It comes down to, we just didn't make the plays down the field. We dropped the ball, this and that. But Josh McCown, nothing to hold your head down for. It was a great season, great attempt yesterday, and we'll move on to the next year. And next, I'm going to jump in to some college football. I said the drop-off was from Ohio State to Clemson. I said it was 2-3. I was wrong. It's from 1-2. LSU is so much better than everyone this year. LSU is a lock to win the conference championship by 21. Book it right now. I'm telling you, LSU is going to blow them out. And last, Clemson, you have your shot here. Redemption to redeem your title back-to-back. I want to see you get it done, but I just don't think you're going to get it done against Joe Burrow, the man, the myth, the legend. He's going to do well in Cincy next year for the Bengals back in his hometown. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the Season 10 premiere of Hitting the Field. We have a lot in store for the viewers this semester, and we can't wait to give you some excellent content. I will be healthy, I promise, but be sure to follow us on social media at Hitting the Field. The HTF podcast returns this week with Jeremy Brenner as we dive deeper into January football. Might I add, with Kyle Partain returns next week to catch us up on UCF basketball as they enter conference play. And we'll be back a week from today at noon for another episode of Hitting the Field for our national championship preview. You don't want to miss a single second of the best season of HTF yet. From inside the Nickerson studio at UCF, I'm Jaret Kappelman, and I'm so glad to be back, and we'll see you next week. Let's do this.
Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask. I just really hit the field.